Welcome to Not Nerdy 4, the comedy podcast where okay, that's what I've been saying now for like.
Now it's NNF.
What's NNF mean?
Not Nerdy 4.
Not Nerdy 4. Okay, I'm changing. Hi, I'm Amy Brown. I'm changing the name of my podcast because I was just traveling and doing stand-up, and it's really hard to explain after you've done an hour of comedy to a room full of people that your podcast is called Nerdy 4, and they're like, for like the number, and I'm like, no, for like FOR, and then it's too much talking on stage, and you're supposed to be getting off stage because you just did your 50-minute set. And so we're going to change the name of the podcast. It's now going to be Amy Brown Comedy Podcast. Just Amy Brown Comedy now on Facebook, Instagram, podcast, YouTube. All of it will be the same. Also, I thought it might be fun to start coming on at the top of the podcast and tell people what adventures I've been up to this week, because I had a crazy week, you guys. I went to Fort Dodge, Iowa, and I did a comedy show with Moms Unhinged, and there was 430 people in the audience. Joel, isn't that wild?
Is that where you just did your headlining set?
I did 2 headlining sets, one at this Fort Dodge, Iowa place, and it was called the Laramar Ballroom. Ooh. And this was the comedy, this was it used to be an armory, and then it was a ballroom, and the people who died in the airplane, like back in the 1950s, 1959, Buddy Holly, Richie Valens, the Big Bopper, Roger Peterson, you know, those guys, like the day the music died. So they had performed in that theater, in that ballroom, it was like on their tour, and they did it like 3 stops before they took the airplane ride. That did not go well for them. So that was their claim to fame.
You're not getting in a plane anytime soon, are you?
Me? Yeah. Oh, I did. You know what? I didn't even piece that together. They were in a tiny plane. I go on the big Delta plane.
Oh yeah, you're not private jet rich.
I get my Biscoff. I'm happy in those big planes. Big planes all day long. I want it to smell like burnt coffee and urine. Let's go. Okay, so that was a really cool theater to perform in, and then I was practicing my set backstage before it was my turn to go on, and I kept seeing something out of the corner of my eye. So I think there might be a ghostie there, but I forgot to ask the group, the staff that worked there, if they'd seen anything. Okay. And then there was only one man, and so what Moms Unhinged is this whole moms obviously show, and there was some men come, like sometimes we'll have like even like 10 guys. There was one solitary man in this room of 430 people, and I have a joke where I say we're gonna sit on his face, and he was this elderly, he looked like a Christmas gnome. He probably weighed 100 pounds. He's so cute. And so I'm like, I found out his name's David, and we're like, okay, we're all going to take turns sitting on David's face. And he was like, cheese grommet, like, happy boy. And afterwards, he and his wife, they're lovely, came up and talked to me. And turns out he is like the great grand uncle of a comedian friend of mine that lives in Denver.
That's so weird.
Isn't that a small world? Yeah. So I texted Kimberly. I texted her a picture of him, and I said, well, he's going to have an exciting night. And I performed. This was like a little tour we did, and it had Janae Suplee on with me and Jody Carroll. They were really fun. Okay. And then we got into a minivan, and we drove over to Lincoln, Nebraska. And I want to say really quick, my mom did not know where Fort Dodge, Iowa is. And then I was calling it Dodge City, and that's not it. So there we go. Fort Dodge, Iowa is in Iowa, Mom. And so we drove over to Lincoln, Nebraska. And okay, so the hotel we stayed in there was called the The Huskers.
The Huskers?
Yeah, it's the Corn Huskers.
Oh, okay.
It was the Marriott Corn Huskers. I'm sorry, that sounds sexual. I'll be like,
That's like a college team or something, right?
right? There's a university there in the city, and I think people stay there and then they go watch sports or something, or just a lot aggressive husking happening down the street. Is it in the men's school? I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna stop trying to make a joke about Huskers. Corn Huskers. Okay, so we stayed in this theater. No, we went and we performed in this theater, and it's called the Rococo Theater, and it was built in the 1920s, and it looks like a mini Fox Theater.
Okay.
It had 2 balconies, so it was, too many, but it had tables instead of rows of chairs, so people could eat or have a cocktail and watch the show. And the acoustics were perfect, the lighting was amazing, and the audience came to laugh. They were so fun and funny, and I got to do a bunch of crazy act outs and take my jokes places I hadn't taken them before because the audience was on board. And I usually don't drink on stage, but
you get a little drunk?
No, never. I am a working professional. Please hire me. But I did bring a drink with me on stage. It was just some vodka and soda, but I asked for a double. And I think the measurements in the Midwest, you know how there's Mountain Time, and I think the measurements are different out there because I got a quadruple. It was a glass. Solo cup.
They don't have a lot to do out there.
Right? It was a solo cup full of vodka. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to die here. Every time I took a sip to wet my whistle, I just got absolute lighter fuel, jet fuel lighters. Joel, I'm going to introduce you again too, because you are always talking. Joel Ruiz is my producer. And
Hi.
That's the voice. You almost never see a picture of him. We should put a picture of you up somewhere.
No, I'm elusive.
You're elusive. You like to be
I sit behind the lights.
Under the radar with your shorty shorts. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're really shy, aren't you?
Yeah, very shy. That's what everyone says about me.
Okay, so at the end of the show, I talked to I don't know if she's runs the theater, but a person in charge. And I'm like, are there ghosts here? And she said, actually, the green room you were in. And I was like, oh, the green room that I spent 0 time in because it was freezing in there and felt icky. And I just spent when the other comics were doing their sets, I was out in the audience watching. I wanted to see their sets, but also it was the energy there was nicer. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I'm like, yeah, the room I spent 0 time in because it had a creepy feeling. She's like, yes, a girl committed suicide there. She hung herself out the window because the guy who played the piano in the pit didn't love her and she loved him. This is back in the 20s or the 30s or something.
Jesus.
Ooh, Goose Pimple City. I like ghost stories, but she said that the energy that she gets from the theater is a good one. Maybe the ghost name is either Mary or Marie, is watching the theater and in a good way. And so that's because the energy on stage was absolutely lovely, and in the rest of the space was fine. And in retrospect, maybe the heat was just broken, and
it wasn't the woman that killed herself over 100 years ago.
Yeah, maybe it was just a cold room where a little bit of the paint was peeling, and so that was making me feel uncomfortable. But that was interesting. I love a ghost story, especially these old theaters. You know what? Okay. Also, I asked about ghost lights. Do you know what a ghost light is? Mm-mm. When you have an old theater, you have to put a light onto the stage after the show to stay on throughout the night so that the ghosts feel comfortable, I think. Are you looking it up?
I am.
Yeah. And the Fox Theater has one. It's usually a floor lamp with a cage around the bulb, so if it falls over, it doesn't start a fire or whatever. But yeah, you're supposed to keep a ghost light on. And they didn't have a proper ghost light at the Rococo, but they had all these really cute side lights on all of the pony walls in there, and that was we keep that on for the ghost. Yeah, you're looking it up.
That is a real thing.
It's a real thing. It's on Wikipedia.
Yeah. Even with the cage is the first one they showed too.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Okay. All right. That was my comedy journey this week. felt like I'm taking steps forward to getting ready for recording my album because I came up with a new punchline and act out for a bit, and it's getting tighter. Another crazy thing that happened this week is I went to a black tie event. Well, it's cocktail. If you're being, there's white tie, there's black tie, and there's it was cocktail. And it was at the Fox Theater here, but it was in like one of the event rooms, the Egyptian Ballroom, and it was a fundraiser, and Jane Fonda was there.
Ooh.
Yes, for her fundraiser. It's called the Georgia Campaign for Adolescent Pregnancy Prevention, GCAP. And it was a room full of fancy people and lots of decorations and fun lights and loud music. And it was exciting. I got to meet Heather McMahan. Do you know who she is?
No.
She is a lady comedian out of Atlanta, and she has a wonderful following and sells at the Fox Theater. And she was lovely and fun and took a picture with me. And I got to talk to her for 5 seconds because everybody wanted to talk to her. Guess who else was there? Jessica Biel.
Wow.
Do you know Jessica Biel?
I know Jessica Biel.
Yeah.
Did you get to talk to her?
No, I could have, but I don't like to talk to celebrities. I get nervous. So I just saw her. She was making the rounds, saying hi to people, whatever. And she got on stage. So Jessica Biel has written a book, a children's book, a kid's book about periods. Like girls have periods. Yeah. And she was there to promote it because obviously if you're trying to prevent teenage pregnancy, the reason Joan of Arc, nope, what's her name? The lady who started Jane Fonda. Yeah. The reason she started this nonprofit is because when she married Ted Turner and she moved to Atlanta, teen pregnancies were the top in the nation in Georgia.
Real good at it.
So she was trying to help educate and get people to have more choices. And Jessica Biel was there to present her book, and Jane Fonda was going to interview her on stage. And I got to tell you something, guys. This crowd, there was like maybe 300 people there. People paid a lot of money, I think, to be there. And they were yapping. They were a terrible audience.
Really?
Oh my God. I could not believe that they would spend this much money to see Jessica Biel and Jane Fonda and Heather McMahan and not be quiet and listen to them. They're just dab, 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 dab. And like I was with a friend and he kept like hitting his like they're making a speech at a wedding, hitting your fork on the glass. And people kept yapping. And then Jane Fonda started to feel faint and had to go lay down backstage. And Heather had to, instead of Jane interviewing Jessica Biel, Heather did. She did a great job. But they were yapping during the interview to find out about the book. I was so embarrassed for how rude everybody was here in Atlanta, you talkers. No one there listens to this podcast, so I think I'm pretty safe saying that. But it was very exciting. It was fun to dress up. I realized I haven't dressed up in a long time, and I don't have a handle on my foundation garments. Mm-hmm. Can you relate, Joel?
Yeah. My costume closet's in an array just like yours.
Well, foundation garments are what keep my fupa from flopping out.
Yeah, there we go. I knew that too.
Oh, yeah, and the lady who invented Spanx was there.
Did you thank her?
No, I couldn't get it close enough to her. She's made a sneaker now, and Jane Fonda was wearing the sneaker. Spanx is one of the major contributors to this nonprofit. Okay. Christy Brinkley, that's not her name. Christy something. I'm really good at names, especially when I'm name dropping. But it was fun to see her.
Sarah Blakely?
Sarah Blakely, yes. She lives in Atlanta as well. And she has invented a sneaker high heel that she was wearing and Jane Fonda was wearing. It's supposed to be comfortable. I haven't tried it. I doubt any heel can be comfortable, but at least someone's freaking trying. Okay. Really quick, I want to do, I don't know how long. Yeah, I want to do a bossy lady shout out. This is a little bit I want to do every week now, hopefully, if we can do it like this. we're going to still have interviews and stuff, but I just want to make it more personal since it's going to be Amy Brown Comedy Podcast. And okay, so shout out Bossy Lady. When I was in Iowa at Fort Dodge, I was testing you. A woman came up to me and she kind of looked, her energy was gray. Like she looked a little worn down. And she said, I didn't want to come tonight. I'm going to cry. I'm so glad I came. This was after my show. Like she enjoyed our show. And then her friend was standing next to her. And she's like, my friend made me came. And I'm like, oh, so this is your bossy lady friend that made you come out tonight. She's like, yeah. And I'm like, well, that's great. And I thanked the bossy lady friend for making her depressed friend go outside. Depression is your enemy, and it's going to tell you to do the exact opposite of what you need to do to feel better. So shout out to that bossy lady in Fort Dodge, Iowa, that rallied her team and got everybody out. We're going to do a family update on my family, which I probably shouldn't talk about on the internet. But so Carter, our dog, our lab, was limping so drastically on his front paw, we thought that he broke his leg. We thought he broke his ankle or whatever. I guess it's his hand officially. But it turns he just strained it. So he's on bed rest.
Aww.
I know your favorite, Joel.
How is he doing? Is he recovering?
He's recovering, and he's like, I'm okay, throw the ball. I'm okay, throw the ball. I'm like, lies. You're lying to us. He wants to just throw the ball. Unfortunately, dogs can't do crossword puzzles or watch Real Housewives shows to just pass the time. I don't know. He's going to get fat. I think those are all my updates. Do you have any updates, Joel?
No. I'm going to produce your album.
Yes, I want to get it done too. The jokes are ready. There's a picture of my friend took. I took pictures. I got pictures of all of the shows I just did, and I made a picture post and a video post of both the venues that are on my Instagram and Facebook, so you can go there. But one of the pictures is me from the back while I'm on stage, and my hair is my curls are cascading down my back. And I'm like, well, that's a cool shot. That might be a nice shot to have in my special that I'm trying to record in late January. I also noticed that I don't like photos of me from the side because my waddle, is that what it's called on a turkey?
Yes, it is. On a turkey, not a human.
Well, I have one. I also have waddles underneath my arms where my muscles should be like.
That's just called being a human.
I know, but I'm supposed to be inhuman because of my tax bracket.
Oh,
you should have seen the ladies. Dude, you should have seen the ladies at the Fox Theater all dressed up. Nothing moving on them. No, you could drop them off the balcony and nothing would have fallen. They were just tight. Skin pulled tight. Yep. That's what money buys you, a tight face. I'm loose everywhere. Don't.
What a statement.
Yeah. This is getting looser. The older I get, just everything is leaky. It's leaky. Oh, I had a surprise period in the middle of my cycle. That's a perimenopause update. Oh, yay. I don't know where to start counting now if that was my period or not. I don't know. I'm going to have to phone a friend and find out what to do. A family update. So my son finally got some of his applications in for college, which is good because now we don't have to ride him so hard to get him done. And it was so awful. But something's changed. Like, I don't know if it's cognitive or what's happening, but his laundry used to be piles in the room. And now they're laid out like as if someone laid down and then got evaporated in his room. And I don't know if it's clean or if it's dirty. That's between him and God. Yeah. I can't ask. I'm not going to ask those questions. That's his own laundry pile. He's going to have to lay in it. But that's a new trend I'm noticing. I wonder if there's a TikTok video going around telling people they should lay their pants and shirts out, spread eagle. Like someone came in with the chalk after a body was found. So it looks like a bunch of dead bodies in my son's room. Good times. Okay, great oldies. All right, that's my update. I hope everyone's doing well. Welcome to Amy Brown Comedy Podcast. See you next. Well, there's going to be now an interview with. So the person I've had on, what are they called? A person you interview? A guest. I love a guest. My guest is Keegan Ray. He just had 2 baby girls. They're twins. He came on to the show before they were out of his wife's or girlfriend's belly. Now they're out. So he came to tell us about his babies. It's so cute. And at the top of the show, I say Nerdy 4. But that was before I decided to change the name because it's too long to say all that. All right. You can have a good time watching that. He's such a great guest. He's so easy to talk to. Welcome to Nerdy 4, the comedy podcast where I, Amy Brown, ask fun and interesting people what they're nerdy for. I have a friend who's already been on the show once. This was very exciting. The first time he came on, he was about to have twins.
Yeah, I was.
And now the twins.
Feels like a lifetime ago.
I bet it does because you're not sleeping.
Old Samantha and Tamantha.
Samantha and Tamantha. So that's what we were going to name them on our first podcast. This is Keegan Ray. Say hi, Keegan.
What's going on?
So we're going to find out about your babies, but first we're going to have some drinks, not alcoholic ones. Today is election day. We're actually recording on election day. This pod it'll come out in 2 weeks. But I'm going Christmas early to deal with my anxiety around the election. I've put up my Christmas wreaths. We have a Christmas tree
I saw
up.
that.
Did you see the Christmas tree?
Yes, when I was sitting there, I was like, oh my God, it's Christmas
you already
early.
had the tree up? I didn't
They had
see
the
it.
trees up.
I have a fake one, and it's flocked.
What is that?
Yeah, I was wondering. This is fun.
Yeah, I don't.
Flocked is where it's like covered in white stuff.
Oh, yeah.
It looks like quote unquote snow, but what it does is it just releases its flock onto everything. I got flock in my eye yesterday. But I do. I've got eggnog.
How many trees do you do? I feel like you do multiple trees.
Do you have a real tree?
Always a real tree.
Okay, I'm a big real tree person.
We have to wait till later to do a real tree
because
it dies, and then I always feel like any second it's just gonna set our house on fire. But yeah, I've got eggnog and but because it is not even Thanksgiving yet, I've got pumpkin.
Yeah, you might have been the first person to buy eggnog this season.
For sure, the first person.
Yeah,
as soon as they put it out.
Yeah,
I've got pumpkin spice latte.
I'm gonna do a little latte.
Yeah, I'll do a latte.
Okay, it actually has caffeine in it.
That's
so
fine.
You guys get ready. Come on.
My caffeine intake has gone up so much. It's crazy.
I had 4 cups of coffee today, and I still feel tired.
Today?
That's because you're ADHD.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Oh
Doesn't
my
work.
God. Do I need the meth pills?
Yeah, you do. You need medication.
The Adderall? Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
So maybe I could steal some of my children's meth pills.
I don't think you're supposed to do that.
No.
Okay, heart attack from cocaine.
Yeah.
You're telling me not to steal meth pills? I could bring it over to you. There
That's
we go.
actually really good.
So happy pumpkin spice latte.
I think that's the closest I've ever come to being on camera.
Oh, that's right. You're kind of the secret. Does Joel actually have a face?
So what alcohol goes into eggnog? When you make the eggnog,
like whiskey.
You ready?
Is it whiskey?
Okay, you ready? So there's different ways to do it. I have a recipe that's from 200 years ago in Virginia. Humble brag. And it's a lot of bourbon because that's what they had. But you put so much sugar in it and raw eggs. And you whip it up with the sugar and the raw eggs. That it overwhelms any flavor of alcohol that you're hopefully putting in there. But so you can do rum. Some people would do rum, especially like America would get cheap rum from the islands nearby.
That sounds like the worst hangover.
Google is saying you can also, I mean, they're just saying a bunch, but like some people put tequila in it.
So it's just whatever you want to put in.
No, tequila, that has to be wrong.
That's crazy.
Citizens arrest.
That's
Call the authorities. Tequila?
That's how you ruin Christmas. That's
Why is mom crying?
yeah, you start spiking people's eggnog with tequila, it's gonna get wild.
Yeah. So there was a family I was hanging out with, and they're not allowed to have bourbon at their Christmas anymore because someone called grandma a bitch.
Anytime that you're having specific alcohol banned at a family function is trash. Because we have a no liquor rule, and it's trash. That's how you know that this is a trashy family, when you're like, oh, we're not allowed to have liquor at Christmas.
Now, in their defense, was their grandma being kind of a bitch?
I bet
doubt
she
it.
was being a bitch.
Oh, maybe.
Sometimes grandmas can be bitches.
Oh, no.
If we
Never a
If
grandmother.
we take away anything from today,
Grandmas can be bitches.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, old people can just be mean, and they think they have the right to be.
The older I get, Joel, and the more my sciatica flares up, the more my heart aches for these old people. They are in constant pain.
Yeah.
And usually a lot of them don't talk about it. And so they're probably just white knuckling it in the corner. And then the granddaughter walks by and she's like, "You're dressed like a prostitute." And really what she's saying is, "My leg is on fire with sciatica."
And it's like, I mean, you can just say whatever because you have that protection of being the grandmother.
Are you ready for your daughters to dress like prostitutes?
No,
Jesus
not at all.
Christ.
Not at all.
I circled the wagon back to your baby
Not at all.
girls.
I don't
But
think
I
that's circling the wagon. I think that's called jumping the shark right there.
Jumping the shark.
Yeah.
Which is my favorite saying.
I've never heard that one. Is it from Shark Week?
It's referencing Happy Days.
It's stating whenever a television show or movie has gone on too long and they've run out of ideas, and it's referencing whenever Fonzie literally jumped a shark.
Yeah.
That's
in Happy
hilarious.
Yeah, which is the most ridiculous episode.
And I was talking to you about Mrs. Roper 20 seconds ago.
yeah,
I'm wearing
I
my
have no idea what
I
that
have
is.
a Mrs. Roper romper on. It's a Kaftan.
That Three's
a
Company,
Gaftan?
that wasn't even on Nick at Night.
I
like
watched
at my
I watched
time.
Three's Company Nick at Night.
I didn't watch it.
Come on, knock on our door.
I didn't watch
Take a
Three's
step
Company.
that is
I did
new.
watch Mary Tyler Moore, Mork and Mindy. I watched that. A lot of shows I should.
I Love Lucy came on at noon every day. I had my Campbell's chicken noodle soup and my grilled cheese sandwich, and I watched Mork and Mindy. Or sorry, I Love Lucy.
Yeah.
I
And
watched
then
a lot of
Dick
Cheers.
Van Dyke came on right
Cheers,
after.
yeah.
Cheers is good.
Speaking of Cheers, here's to the holiday season.
Cheers.
I'll clink
Which
my water
I don't
glass.
think I'm ready for. With the two girls, we got to travel everywhere.
How many?
no, are you
How old
doing
are
a
they?
tour?
How long is?
Yeah.
How old are they now?
They're just over 2 months, coming up on 3 months.
Okay.
So they say at the 3 months after your babies are born is actually the fourth trimester. Have you heard this saying?
No.
Okay.
What does that mean?
The fourth trimester is that the baby would really ideally come out then.
Okay.
Because it finally like starts cooing and like they're kind of just blobs and they're having a hard time sleeping and like they come alive in the after like
Okay, because now you're starting to see their little personalities.
Yeah.
Because they have different personalities.
Which one's the slut?
I don't know which one. Well, I will say.
Let's see how many times Amy can
I wouldn't say
slut
it's
shame
but
your.
No,
She did.
never
She
slut
did
shame.
wear a cat costume for Halloween. So I mean, she's.
When do you find out if they're identical?
They are identical, but
So you know in the beginning. I didn't know if
Yeah.
they grow into it.
No. But they did look a lot different when they first were born, and now as they gain weight and they kind of like catch up in size, it's
Is
starting
one
to get
quite
harder.
bigger than the
Have
other?
you got-
One was, but now I think they're pretty close in size.
Have you gotten them confused for each other yet?
No, one has a what is it called? It's a port wine stain. Emma has a port wine stain, but
Where
they're
is it?
saying it's on her ass. They're saying don't like go off of that because it'll fade away. So I don't know. Right
Yeah,
now
you're
we
gonna
can
have to
tell them
learn.
Tattoo
apart.
one of them.
That's what I said. And actually, I was saying it at the hospital before we had the kids, and the nurse was like, I go, how do we tell them apart? Like, what are ways that people do that? And she was like, well, some people do nail polish. Then you can do a tattoo. And I was like, see, I told you, because I was just kidding around. Christina was like, you can't tattoo a kid.
baby.
And I was like, they do it. Like, yes, you can. It's no worse than getting their ears pierced.
Well, I don't want to do that either, but those little owie babies. I mean, circumcision that's owie too.
That's what I mean. It's not worse than that. And you could get Andy tattooed on her foot, like Toy Story.
Oh, that's charming, actually. That's so cute. So if it's on her butt, do you have to take her diaper off to figure out which child
No, we
you're
know
dealing
because
with?
they kind of, I guess, the more we're around them, I can tell them apart. Like I can see the differences, but when friends or family come over, they can't tell them apart. But I think it's just because we're around them all the time.
That's good. That's good.
Do you have a favorite yet?
Oh,
everybody asks that. No, I don't have a favorite. But Emma is a lot chiller.
I know which Amy's kids are her favorite.
What? Do you have a favorite?
Nothing.
I know. I was doing a podcast with Gabby, and I was like, well, Christina always thinks I have a favorite. And, Emma is my favorite. No, but the one is chiller. Like, one is a lot calmer. And then Ava's, she's a drama queen. She, like, overreacts.
Well, maybe she has colic.
No, I don't think so. She's just a drama queen. She'll just like spit the bottle out and just cry.
That sounds like colic.
I don't think so.
Is she spitting up a lot?
No, actually, they don't spit up that much.
That's good.
I thought there would be a lot more throw up, but there's not.
Well, there's time.
Yeah. The shit is out of control.
The poopy?
Have
you had the duty go all the way up the back, out the neck?
The other day I'm sitting there and I'm like watching TV and they're sitting in front of me and they're little bouncers and I looked over and she's just cooing and I was like, you look so cute. Like, oh my God. I was like, let me just pick you up and give you a kiss. As soon as I go to pick her up, I'm like, why are you wet? Oh my God, you're soaking. She had shit and it went all the way up. It looked like somebody had dunked her in a bucket of shit, like up into her armpits.
Yes.
I didn't know that was possible.
I saw this comedian say he feels like babies have a secret butthole on their back.
It's crazy.
And it closes up when they're 2. But until they're 2.
You know what? They had fur, like hair on their back. They had hairy little backs.
Did they?
Yeah, so when they were born, they looked like little chimpanzees.
So, there's a lot of hormones playing out when the babies are growing and when they're going through labor and delivery. And so you don't know this, but little boys, when they come out, ginormous junk. It's ginormous. Huge testicles. Yeah. Yeah.
That's so uncomfortable.
Yeah. Have you seen like those pictures of rats?
No.
People hold rats.
I thought you were going to say, have you seen the picture of the naked babies? I was like,
well,
no.
we had
So
these
the
friends,
rats with balls?
They had friends like the picture of their baby like naked. And they cut for the people who they weren't close with. They did a baby's announcement with like the title covering the junk, and for their close friends, they printed a couple with the total junk out for the baby announcement. Oh, wasps are fun when we get all crazy.
Just open this
Do
envelope.
all boys have giant testicles, or is it just that
That's what I'm saying. Is it everybody?
It just like looks proportionally.
Okay.
That's
ridiculous.
not practical.
Yeah, it just proportionally looks ridiculous.
Yeah.
Which the whole childbirth thing is
Have you
crazy.
tried keeping the duty out of the vagina when you're wiping them?
Yeah, I didn't realize that. I mean, the shit goes everywhere, but it's crazy. It goes front, back. It's just
left, right, center.
It's crazy. And the velocity that is coming out at, and you can hear it. Like, you'll just be sitting there watching TV and you just hear them shit themselves. You're like, whoa.
No, they're not doing solid, so it's all
all milk.
Yeah.
Full liquid diet.
Yeah. I miss those. Like, those were funny though when the baby would make a huge rip.
Mm-hmm. It's hilarious. It is hilarious. It's weird because it smells almost like buttered popcorn, like the shit.
Yeah.
Kind of
ruined
popcorn.
Are they doing breast milk?
We pump. She pumps.
She's all breast milk still?
No, we do formula at night, but yeah, she pumps, which is crazy that she has to pump every 3 hours.
Yeah, she's
got 2 kids to feed too.
I know, but apparently she produces more, which the whole breastfeeding thing is interesting to me because she was saying that she takes the saliva, puts it on her nipple, and then she'll produce whatever they need. So, like, if they get sick, she'll produce what they need in the breast milk to help them.
That's pretty cool.
And that's why we got to control women's bodies. They're witches.
Right? So I had to pump. I made it like 4 months, I think. And then I was like, I need to have a life again.
Yeah.
And
I don't know how long she's going to do it for.
I
told her just whenever she feels like quit.
Yeah.
And I was like,
it's a lot of work.
I can't believe you've done it this long.
And then, you just get mastitis, you get infections. Like, I'm waking up in the night because my boobs are on fire.
That's what she says. She says a lot of boob hurting.
It's so
when
weird.
she was, so I was watching her do the pumps at the hospital, and the nurse like sets the thing, and then she's doing something, and the nurse like walks away, and then I guess it jumped up. Dude, it looked like she got tased. Like, she was just like, oh! I was like, whoa! And the nurse came running back over. She's like, oh my God, it was on like 10. It was supposed to be on 3. I was like, oh my.
She's lucky she still has her nipples.
I can't.
fly right across the room.
I didn't know. I mean, you can actually see it. Like, I mean, it's a lot.
So, okay.
It's a lot.
Here's a cute, fun story.
Okay.
The first time I met my now brother-in-law, he came over to like say hello, like to meet for the first time. He walked in our front door and our living room was right there. And I was sitting there with my breast pump on. And their cups are see-through. So it was just like boom, 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 shh, boom, shh, boom, shh.
Yeah.
Just absolute throbbing milkers. The nipples get real big too when you're breastfeeding.
Yeah.
And
throbbing milk.
and I didn't have like a blanket or anything, and I also like it was right after my first baby, so I couldn't recognize nudity anymore. I was like, are you here to stick your fingers inside of me and see if I am dilated, or are you just a new brother-in-law? So that's how I met him for the first time. I was like, hi, nice to meet you, the beer's in the refrigerator, can you give me a glass of wine? There's no privacy.
What was
anymore.
His response?
He's from Sweden, so he was very polite, and like they have nudity over there a lot, so he was totally down to clown. He was chill. He's a cool guy. What did you name your daughters?
Emma and Ava.
Do we allow it? Because
I don't know how often I'm going to be meeting your kids, but I'm calling them Samantha and Samantha.
Yeah, you can definitely.
And I'm like, hey, Dad, who's this weird guy? You're like, well, it's a podcast producer. I've met twice now.
Emma and Ava are beautiful names.
Oh, that is good.
I
got vetoed. I wanted to do Emma Jean, and she said no. She said that is white trash.
That's real southern.
Two names. Is pretty trash.
I mean, we went with Emma Rose as her middle name. Okay. I was like, what does it matter? You never use your middle name.
Maybe she knew you were gonna like lean into that Jean real hard. Like,
yeah, Emma Jane,
get off the back porch with your shorty show towel, hussy.
Yeah, Emma Jean. The more I thought about it, I was like, Emma Jean smoked cigarettes at like 15.
Yeah,
Emma Jean is climbing in somebody's truck in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
Emma Jean knows how to cook all the parts of the possum.
Absolutely, dude. Emma Jean has been hunting for sure.
Those are beautiful. Those are beautiful names. Congratulations. Now, do you feel different being a daddy now?
Absolutely.
They're just going to leave you and go to college, by the way.
Oh my God.
There's like a certain like people that their kids are older all say that to me. They're like, it is amazing, but they'll break your heart. That's what this one lady said at my job.
Because they're going to leave at the same time.
Yeah, you didn't plan this well.
God,
you better get a puppy right when they're seniors in high school.
Yeah, because I don't think I want any more kids. And the other day, I was at the grocery store and we had the girls. And this guy comes up to me and he's like, hey, that's awesome. I'm a twin. He goes, but my brother had his first set of kids was twins. And then they had twins again on their second. And I was like,
whoa.
Dude, no fucking way.
We can break this down. I have a PhD in twins. You ready? So
can you have, like, if I had kids again, what are the odds?
No, so you had identical twins, which means the zygote split. So they're genetically the same child. Mm-hmm. Well, that is a fluke. That's not genetic. That's just nature doing something wild. Now, if your wife had released multiple eggs, creating at the same time that she ovulated, creating fraternal twins, she can pass that gene to be a multiple egg releaser onto her daughters, granddaughters. But it would have to be the woman's side. Or you just pound them real hard, the lady real hard, and too late, eggs got shook loose out of there. Or this is really what happens in our culture too, because people are. So, you can laugh about that. People are getting older when they have babies.
Yes.
As a woman ages, and this is what I'm doing. Your body releases multiple eggs, like right at the end, like abandoned ship. She's going down. This is our last chance. And then you have more chances of having multiple births, multiple whatever that is.
Yeah.
Multiple eggs released.
I mean, if we went and had more kids, because that is the scary thing too, is like, now it's like when you have sex, you're like, this is scary. Because now we know what the end result of this is.
I would love to see what the breakdown is statistically on someone having identical twins twice with the same like, it's just a zygote slip like dividing. Oh, our producer is Googling.
Nice.
So my husband is a fraternal twin. And his fraternal twin had fraternal twins. So his daughters are predisposed on his mother's and his father's side to be multiple egg releasers when they ovulate. So they're screwed. But you might be fine.
So she was saying this the other day. You tell me that if this is true. So they say that when you're born, you have all your eggs.
I've heard that
right?
too.
So she was saying, so technically she's had her grandchildren inside of her because.
Oh, her daughters.
And then she's had 2 of all her grandchildren inside of her.
Oh my God.
Because she at one point, one of her friends was like, you have 4 eyeballs inside of you. And I was like, what a creepy thing to say.
Okay. First of all, it's a 1 in 110,000 chance to have identical twins a second time. And yes, you are born with all of your eggs.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So you're technically have had your grandchildren inside of you.
Technically, yes.
I haven't because I didn't have girls.
No, yeah.
And I don't know what the semen does. It seems very willy-nilly.
Well, I don't know.
Ne'er-do-wells, all of them.
I feel like saying you have your grandchildren inside of you is a very...
Yes.
Because that's saying like the one within... Because, that egg has to turn into a person to then get its eggs.
Yeah.
So I don't think you have your
That's
grandchildren.
definitely a shower
You
thought.
have your full... You have all the kids you could ever have inside of you.
Mm-hmm.
That's an interesting thought too. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole childbirth thing is crazy. Did you have a natural childbirth?
Well, it came out of my hoo-ha, but I was drugged.
Yes.
Yeah, I wanted the full drug.
Because she did a C-section.
Yes. And then those are hard to recover from. It really messes up your abs.
It's rough.
Yeah.
I wasn't supposed... So when you have twins, you have... Each baby has a set of like nurses. So you have...
Oh, really? They had their own team.
So you had 9 people in there because you had 3 for each baby, and then she had 3, and then you have my stupid ass back there. I'm just complicating things.
Were you okay? Did you pass out?
Almost. When I walked in, they were like, first off, they tell you when you're walking in, they're like, dude, they give you that like Michelin Man outfit, and then they're like, don't touch anything blue. And I was like,
what?
I can do that. As soon as I walk in, the entire room is blue. I was just like, why didn't you just say don't touch anything?
They're like, put your hands up but not all the way.
So I'm just sitting there, and I'm like,
hands in pockets.
I'm sitting behind her, and she's like, hold my hand. And I was like, I don't know if I'm allowed to. Yeah, that's what I was whispering. She's like, what? She's like, hold my hand. I was like,
yeah, I think that's the one thing you're supposed to do.
But with twins... Usually everybody's like, I stayed on this side of the curtain. I stayed on the side of the curtain. That's not an option because you only have so much of the room. Yeah. So when the first baby came out, they're like, come over here. Well, I walked over there and just instinctually I turned around and was... It's like going by a wreck. You're like, I'm not gonna look. I'm not gonna look. And then I looked and I was like, and the lady saw me look and was like, no. I was like, oh, I should have.
You're like, do you guys know how hard this is for the father?
And that's when I almost passed out, though.
Yeah.
That's when I really was like,
then the nurses get mad at you.
Dude, yes, because I would be right in the middle of everything.
You would have messed everything
There's 10
up.
people in there working, and I just passed out.
There's no room on the floor.
What if you're just ripping with them? You're just, yeah. Hey, don't drop that baby.
That's another thing. They just give you 2 babies.
And they expect you to drive home with them. We didn't put the car seat on, right? And every time my husband slowed down, the baby's head flipped forward. I'm like, you're murdering the baby. Because we didn't tighten it.
They're very rubbery in the beginning.
Oh my god!
Yeah, but their necks
it's
are
loosey-goosey. Yeah. They're just bobblehead.
They're like, I guess they're mostly cartilage. So if you like X-ray a baby, it looks like a shark.
That's the scariest thing too. Is when you put them in the car, it's the scariest thing is to drive with them. You realize how terrifying driving is.
I can't believe we put our bodies in a tin can and try to go
People going by
places.
you watching Netflix, you're like, this is insane. Yeah, I'm glad that he put it in wrong because I struggled with the car seat. I was out there just having a meltdown.
They had to do too.
Oh yeah, they have a whole thing like you're supposed to go get them installed before you come to the hospital by a professional, and like because it's that complicated.
Oh no, I just sat out there and just screamed and cussed in a parking garage. I literally was wrestling and did not know that this lady had been sitting in a car next to me the entire time. So when I stood up, she was just like, "Oh my god!" I was pouring sweat. She was just like, "Dude,
I'm about to be a father."
Oh god. And you're failing the first quiz of fatherhood.
It
is
the
getting the
first
car
quiz,
seat
yeah.
installed. I have a lot of information about car seats because I lived in Boulder, Colorado, and when I was there, I kind of had a meltdown about how opinionated everybody was. Like anytime you had an infection, they're like, you're not going to take antibiotics, are you? You should just have a yogurt poultice. And they were like, you're not going to.
Everybody's a fucking doctor.
Yeah, they're like, is that a plastic toy? Do you even want your baby to live?
Yeah.
And I did research. Boulder County had like the highest percentage of PhDs and the highest percentage of car seats installed improperly. So I just imagined all like the professors out in the yard swearing and like not reading the instructions right and being like, this can't be that, like idiots do this, and just slapping it in. It's harder than it looks. There's anchors. There's like you're supposed to be forward and then backward and
the
forward.
stakes are high because you're like, this is like, I don't want my baby to go flying out the fucking windshield.
And then you're like, I remember like, the bucket, the car seat that's a bucket. That's what you have now, and it clips in. Yeah. That's lovely because then the baby can sleep.
God.
And then you can move the baby from location to location. It's still sleeping. You can have a life. But
that's like one of the only times I do sleep.
Right.
Yeah, together. Bucket. Yeah, we just drive. Yeah. I had to drop her off the other day, and I drove around in a circle because she got out to go get coffee, and I was like, if I stop, they're going to scream.
Keep the car going.
No, I just drove around the parking lot. I was like, people are probably watching me. Like, this is the fourth time I've seen that guy.
People put their babies on top of dryers in the car seat, but
That's
those will fall off. Those will eventually...
Just mount it on top.
Make it to the side.
That seems like a you haven't slept in 2 days idea.
Yeah.
You're like, I'll just put it on the dryer.
We kept our first child in the bucket seat. It turns out too long because his head was sticking out over the top. And thank God we had a nice cousin who was like, you need to he's too big for the bucket seat. But like, well, then I have to wake him up every time we go anywhere.
Yeah.
God. So
the bucket seat is nice when they go to sleep in it.
And your core, I was ripped out of my mind when my kids were in their bucket seat because you had to stick it. Well, you have two, so you're putting them on the side.
I feel just ripped. I'm like holding them, just walking by people. Just
that's how you get. That's how you get dad.
Everybody's like, "How you feeling, Daddy?" You're like, "Great."
Kathleen Madigan has a joke about she had to try to like help her sister install a car seat, and she's like, if you're gonna do that, go ahead, take the whole day off from work.
It's crazy. And then you have to build cribs and everything.
Did you have the cribs ready before you went to the hospital?
Yes.
Okay, that's
good. We did. She nested hard. She was nesting in there.
You guys were thrown into the deep end too.
Absolutely. I mean, just 2 kids, and it's just everybody's telling you how hard it's going to be. Everybody's freaking you out. I mean, it's been tough, but it's like, it's okay sometimes,
Yeah, there's pockets of nice.
We've been doing a divide and conquer method.
Okay.
So like if she goes to Target, she'll take one and I'll stay with one. Because it's easier. Because it's like if you're by yourself and they both start melting down in public, it's really
rough.
hard.
Also, you want to avoid the twin bond as much as possible.
You don't want them having a secret language.
They're gonna have it.
A lot of see, that's what I'm saying. Everybody tells you conflicting things. Like some people say you gotta just dress them the same, get the twin bond, and other people are like, then they won't have any individuality. They won't feel like their own person.
They're already sharing DNA.
They're already gonna.
People say, and I'm like, all right.
Identical twins are already gonna have this weird non-verbal communication. Doesn't matter. Eventually, they will. I don't think you should dress them like.
You know what? I never thought I was going to be like the dress my kids up dad.
Yeah.
And then I put one bow on her and I was like, dude, I'm on Amazon now. I'm like, we got to get them little turkey feet for Thanksgiving. Like, it's disgusting.
I love it. No, that's so cute because I never had girls.
Oh,
I just had boys, and the outfit for the boys are terrible. There's nothing cute.
Now, I will say that we dress them in a lot
suits? What are we doing?
We dress them in a lot of boy clothes too because the girls don't have any fucking cool animals.
Yeah.
All the boys have the bears and bisons, and the girls just have like fucking flamingos. You know what I mean? You're like, I want to put them in something like that.
Yeah.
But the Halloween was great. We put them in. We did mushroom outfits, so they had little mushroom hats.
Is that because you used to be a big drug guy?
No, that's just because.
And now a responsible father.
My sister-in-law picks mushrooms and forages, and so when she was in town, she's like, "I got them Halloween outfits." So it was real cute.
That's perfect.
They matched, and then Ava shit through her onesie. Just completely had a blowout. Oh yeah. So then I taught her. I was like, listen, you're going to do this for the rest of your life. Whenever you don't have a costume, as a woman, you can throw on cat ears. and just put on black leggings and you're ready to go. You always have a Halloween costume. So that's what we did. We had little cat ears, put them on. And then I was dressed as Jesus, which honestly I didn't think about until I was like talking to my neighbors and trick-or-treating. And I was like, they might not love this. You know? I was standing there like stoned. Like,
were you like blessing people?
I was trying not to lean into it because I got very uncomfortable. Like I got in my head before the first people came up. And then when they came up, I was just like, oh.
You're just like, oh, is that water there? You want to see me do a little trick?
Yeah. I was like, I don't want to offend my neighbors.
We had a guy come to a Halloween party dressed as a quote unquote ghost. And he put like dark makeup on his face.
Nope.
And we're like, buddy, are you in blackface? And he was like, oh, and he ran home and he washed it off and he came back wearing a completely different costume. He was like, I was trying to be a ghost.
Okay. The fact that he didn't.
What person doesn't just do white?
Right?
Even like.
He needed the cat ears. He needed cat ears.
Yes.
Even non-white ghosts
face,
look
dude.
white in all ghost things. Ghosts are just white.
Yeah.
But not knowing that you're in blackface and walking into a party and somebody going, what the fuck are you doing? And you're like, oh my God.
I do want to see that guy just run out. And you're like, hey, Todd. Quick sidebar. And he's fuck.
Yeah, he's like, what are you saying? I took an Uber here. My Uber driver was black. Like I sat in the backseat in
That's why I
blackface.
got 1 star. Damn it.
I'm fucking banned from Uber. I gotta take a lift home.
Oh God! Yeah, be careful. Halloween is dangerous.
Oh my God!
How long? Because
I don't. You're saying that like it's
not
easy
dangerous.
to accidentally
Yeah,
do
just don't do
blackface.
blackface.
Like the way you do, like be careful.
It's
you might-
dangerous. Hey, you might be torn to
There's-
an Indian headdress.
Yeah, might be.
Be careful. It's dangerous.
There's a picture of my husband wearing an Indian headdress 7 years
wow.
ago, and he could lose his job now. It was a good headdress too. I spent a lot of money on
Oh
it.
man, I mean, yeah, that's still never good though.
So the Halloween with babies though, our son wore his costume for 13 minutes. We got the picture, and then it was done. It sounds like you took the girls trick or treating. Is that because you
we
needed
just
candy?
set out. No,
How
we
high
set
were
out.
you?
We set out in the front.
Oh, and
just
handed
like
out candy.
handed out candy.
And with the girls with you?
Yeah, they just sat out there and chilled. We put them in their little
I mean,
bouncers.
I know that you didn't want to lean into it, but that would have been so funny if every time a kid comes and gives you candy, you do a little blessing.
Well, and then we had it all set
That's
up.
the blood of Christ.
We had the lights. I had the pumpkins. We had carved jack-o'-lanterns, and we got like 2 kids, and then nobody came. And so I was just like, damn, nobody's coming. So I took off my costume. We took the girls inside, and then I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna get high and go, grill some steaks. So I'm sitting out there grilling, and I look over, and I have headphones in, and they're noise cancellation, and I literally look over, and there's just like a child standing next to me. I'm like, what the fuck? And I look up, and there's like 15 kids, and they were going in like backs of trucks. So the parents would drive the different. So
That
I
sounds
guess they were
dangerous.
in the other side of my neighborhood.
Yeah.
So at like 7:38 they came. So then I went from no trick or treaters to like
all of that.
55 fucking kids. I was like,
That's kind
Jesus.
of efficient though, because then you'd like get it over to crop, and like everyone's.
And
like,
our
come
neighborhood's
through.
so big. I was like, I guess that makes sense because you can't. I mean, you don't want kids walking like 8 miles.
8 miles, get their sugar treats. Well, this is lovely.
I used to go to multiple neighborhoods.
Yeah, we used to do the big pillowcases.
Yeah,
I mean,
Yeah.
I think about that now. I'm like, the fuck is that? I mean, a pillowcase of candy. You should never eat that.
Oh
much
yeah,
candy.
yeah. We would do like all the walkable neighborhoods, and then get dropped off at other neighborhoods, and like my parents would just sit in the car and wait. They weren't driving us. They were just you guys go, come back here.
They're like, you guys go battle the Zodiac.
I had to be driven to town because I grew up on a dirt road. And then one year my mom said she was too tired to drive me to town, and I cried. And then she's like, okay, I'll take you.
You should have taken the horse in.
No, right?
If I heard this story 6 months ago, I'd be like, that's terrible. But now I'm kind of on your mom's side. Where you're just struggling. You're like, trick or treating, Jesus. I'm dying. It's crazy.
Yeah.
The first couple of days, though, you really do not sleep. When you bring the babies home, you don't sleep at all.
Yeah.
You start like dreaming with your eyes open. You're so tired.
Hallucinating.
Yeah. That's the next Freddy Krueger movie. Should just be
So,
new moms.
I was reading. Okay, there's this book. It's called Parenting: All Joy, No Fun.
Okay.
And it's written by this lady scientist who had a baby, and she was like, what the absolute fuck is this? And I love it. I love it through her science lens. And she said she did research to not getting sleep is the same as being hammered. Like your function for driving goes way down.
Oh yeah.
And they're like, and we're just sending these people out in the world. Go drive to work now. Try to be a doctor. You've had no sleep.
Yeah, it is worse. That's crazy. Because when the first day when we were in the hospital, they came in that night and I was falling asleep like with the baby on my chest. And the lady came in and was like, hey, guys, we got to take him to the nursery. And I was like, I don't want them to be away. She's like, do you think that you should be taking care of a child right now? And I like looked at her. I'm like, all right, Jennifer. Like you have a good point.
Touché,
but you just
Jennifer.
don't want, I know, you're like, I don't want to be apart from them. But the lady's like, listen, y'all cannot be taking care of a baby right now. You're going to drop them.
That's how they switched out Damien in the Labyrinth. Not the Labyrinth, the Omen.
I know.
Very different movies.
I was muttering about the Labyrinth.
Yeah.
Our first baby was in the baby nursery, and I went to go get him. And there was one baby outside the nursery crying. Like it was up against like the door area, near it, and I'm like, "That's my baby. They're just letting my baby cry." And then she came out of the nursery with my baby, and I was like, "God damn it! All these babies look alike."
You're like, hey, y'all got like a tattoo on these babies?
We had
I forgot to tell you the nail polish. We do that to puppies too.
Really?
We have a litter of puppies.
I think that's
we
what we're
put
doing.
nail polish
As soon as they
on
can
it.
start moving, we're doing nail polish. But we had Post-it notes on their cribs when we first brought them home.
Yeah.
Just had Ava, and we always kept Ava on the left.
You can also do like
Baby A.
You
Baby
can
A
color
on the left.
code them and be like, this one child only wears green, this one wears
We'll
blue.
text each other. We'll be like, Ava's in pink.
Oh, really?
Like, yeah. If I dress them in the morning, I'll be like, Ava's in pink. Just it's harder to tell. Like you have to kind of look at them at a certain angle. Like it does. Like
This
you'll be
is
looking at them.
fascinating.
Yeah, you'll like have a baby and you'll be feeding them. You're like, who do I have? Who do you have?
Yeah, they're just blobs right now.
Yeah, who just ate?
There's
Like,
not a lot of
You want to
defining.
feed the same baby twice and the other one not at all.
Yeah, you want to
no.
make sure somebody's not just sitting in a bucket of shit.
I could not do that.
I changed Ava. Oh no.
Yeah. Oh no, it was filthy.
She started smoking cigarettes. Like, these a-holes taking care of me.
Yeah.
I could not keep babies separate at my age right now because the perimenopause fog brain. I can't remember if I've taken my medication. That's where I'm at. I
It's
can
tough.
Imagine like which baby did I feed?
Oh yeah, I'm like Dory. I'm like, as soon as I do something, I'm like, did I just do that?
Oh really? Is that what happens when you're a pothead?
Hey, at least I quit drinking. So I quit
That's really
drinking.
bad. That'll really murder you.
136 days. So I quit drinking because I stopped drinking initially when she was pregnant. Because
I
at
remember.
9 months, I was like, I don't want to do it. And then now I just feel so much better. But I'm like, I don't think I could do this hungover.
Yeah.
Oh no!
Like when they wake up in the morning, I'm like, that's when babies get shaken. It's like if
the
you're
hangover
hungry,
people. Yeah.
You gotta shake babies really hard too. That don't shake a baby thing.
They say that so much though.
But that you gotta really shake a baby. I've shooken babies and they love it.
You've jostled a baby.
I've no, you
They're like that. They're like.
I mean, I've bounced them on. When does it like?
it makes brain damage.
It's
Yeah,
like
when
if
though?
you're like fucking.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Like
That's
at
what I'm
what
saying. You
velocity?
really gotta shake a baby.
If I like bounce a baby,
Yeah.
at what point is it too much?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can bounce them. It's the whiplash, brain slushing inside, causing.
Oh yeah.
Head
That's
damage.
I worry about that when I'm holding them and their head.
Hold
like,
their head, hold their
I
head.
know. I'm saying, but like you'll go to
But
move your arm and then
it's,
get the.
if they just do like one, that's not.
Yeah, it is. They'll do the Stevie Wonder.
Yeah.
Oh god! My husband was carrying our baby off the airplane, and he was looking at the baby and not at the
Oh,
and
fucking
he hit
shit.
the baby's head on the telescoping jetway, and he said, I was in front of him. He said, "Brace yourself." Because the baby wound up the last 15 steps of as he entered the airport.
That is not what you want to hear when somebody's
No.
bringing a baby to you. Brace yourself.
Brace yourself. And that
about to be
child is
bad.
now majoring in aerospace engineering. So
Listen, that's why they're made. That's why they're made so durable. They don't have kneecaps when they're born.
Yeah, and their head is
didn't
like
know
a
that.
little soft,
Yeah.
squishy.
yes,
Don't touch the soft spot.
Don't touch.
Yeah,
So
but see,
nasty.
that's even worse because if you bonk their head in front of people, that's bad.
Oh yeah.
My sister-in-law locked my nephew in the car when she first had the baby. She locked the keys in the car, and she had
Right
like, a
now it's
full-on-
cartilage instead of a kneecap. The full bone doesn't form until as early as 2, as late as 6 years.
This is making me feel younger. You know, like when you have a really old dog and you get a puppy?
Yeah.
This is giving me puppy vibes. Like, I remember raising a child. I'm not dead yet.
You want to know the most terrifying thing? They got all their teeth.
Somebody said that
They
the
have
other day. So what
all
do you
of
mean?
them.
All
Up
of
in their
them?
skull.
Even
They have
the adults?
All of their teeth are in there, just waiting like sharks.
Just like
Ooh.
creepy.
Yeah.
They have their adult teeth
Right
up
now,
there.
because they got no teeth out right now. So there's 2 rows of teeth just waiting.
I had
And then wisdom teeth.
They
I
grow
guess.
with them, I guess.
They're born with them.
6 wisdom teeth.
If you, not to make you think about dead babies, but if you see a baby skull, all the teeth are in there.
Have you been looking at baby skulls?
This was told to me.
I didn't want to.
Joel, are you okay?
No, because sometimes babies
Actually,
die.
Joel, we're gonna need to see your
Not
laptop.
in Georgia.
We're gonna
Sometimes
need to see
babies
your
die,
phone.
and so it's not a murder of a baby. But I was told this over my COVID birthday because everyone was doing Zoom birthdays in 2020, and this is back when I did smoke, and so I was very high. And then I forgot how we got on topic, where someone was like, "Yeah, babies are born with all the teeth." I was like, "No, you can't be."
That's it.
And then I also was like, "How can we find this out?" Because there's no why would anyone have a baby skull? And then someone was like, like babies do die, and like that is
You could X-ray a baby,
but no, you
too,
can't.
right?
Yeah. So they're born.
That's
with all of
crazy.
their teeth. Like, go home and see if you can feel them.
No, don't do that
that's
to your
what-
baby.
That's
Leave
why I
your
wa-
baby alone.
'cause that's
I'll be
why
staring at it.
That's what I did to my niece once I found that out. I was like touching her face.
Putting your fingers in her mouth.
Not in her mouth. They're not in there yet. They're up top.
You got rubber gloves.
You gotta rub on the cheeks and see if you can feel them.
That's like another level of weird uncle touching.
Yeah.
You gotta see. Yeah.
My uncle did that where he would grab you right here. It was the worst.
What?
He would
The-
say,
yeah,
"Let me
the-
check your
the-
cords,"
the-
and he would squeeze right
Little
here.
pressure
and you-
point.
My dad would grab my knee and say, "Let me show you where a horse bit me," and
Yeah,
then he'd
and then
clamp
go,
down, and he's like, "Ah!"
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one.
It must have been a cool back in the day to just grip people's legs off.
Yeah,
with
that's
their-
a fun one to hit at church. When you go
Oh, are you raising your children
in church?
in church?
No. No fucking way, dude. That's crazy. Church is crazy now. You go and you're, what church do you go to?
I don't go to church.
Okay, there.
I don't know anything about churches, so I always have lots of questions.
I grew up in church. I grew up in Baptist church, and
Did the snakes kind?
No, but dude, I went to a church
That's
with
like
a girl,
Pentecostal.
right? So she went on a Wednesday night. She was like, "You should come to church with me." Knew nothing about it. I was 15 at the time because I wasn't old enough to drive. So my mom drops me off. We go in there. They start it starts amping up like this like sermon, and I'm like, very uncomfortable. And then at one point, this dude starts walking down the thing and he's like screaming and throwing trash. He was carrying a trash bag and he's like, "Sin is like trash that you carry around." And then somebody jumped up and started speaking in tongues. And I ran out of this church. I freaked out. I'd never seen that. And at 15 years old, that shattered me. Like somebody speaking, and it was a Wednesday night. It was like, what the fuck is happening? This is like some Sunday morning revival shit.
Have you ever seen anybody speak in tongues, Joel? I've only heard Telltale. I've never seen
No,
it.
I've never been to any of them.
Crazy.
Like,
Because what else scared me was nobody else reacted. Everybody else was super into it.
Because they're getting
Yeah,
moved
that's
by
their
that
that's their
spirit.
jam.
And I was just it was
it's like
nightmare.
if
I've seen
freestyle rap.
I've seen videos.
Yeah, this dude's
I've
solo
seen
battle
videos
rap.
of it, but I've never seen it in person. But
In person at 15
Oh my God.
terrified
And
me.
speaking in tongues, just white people trying to rap. They can't do it.
You got to commit to that bit, like, because you're full of shit when you're speaking in
Some people
tongues.
don't.
You know,
Maybe it's like
maybe
when
they believe it.
The suggestion
They just
of
feel
it,
it.
like people get hypnotized or whatever. Like it's just the suggestion of it.
I have like a very crazy narcissistic. What's that thing where you lie all the time?
Borderline personality disorder.
Probably that, but no,
Yeah.
the where you just I don't know, whatever it is. Like anyway, my mom's a crazy person,
Right.
And like fully, I think she's like lied and said enough bullshit that she believes herself on things. So I do feel
yeah.
like some
Yeah.
people that are speaking in tongues, they have convinced themselves that it is the spirit moving them,
Yeah.
and that's fine.
Yeah, so I don't know. I
not
don't think
gonna
we're
hold a
going to
snake.
church. I don't think I want to do that. But you do think about stuff like that as soon as you have a kid.
Yeah.
You're like, dude, should
Like,
I?
and then you're like, oh wait,
What about school? What are we doing at school?
What are we going to do at school? Where do you want to live? What kind of when they walk home from school, are they going to walk home? Are they going to be on a bus? Are they going to be in your car? What kind of friends? What kind of, do they want to see, like, maybe you want to all of a sudden, like, we should live near the ocean. They should know the ocean. You know,
that's what I said. I'm like, dude, these babies got to know the beach. We got to have beach babies. She wants the mountains. My nephew, I think, is getting bullied. He was like, I don't want to go to school. He's like,
how old?
6 or 7.
Just tell him to be cooler.
Yeah, I didn't know what to say. I was like, because you don't want to tell him, like, well, you got to beat the shit out of those.
Yeah.
You're just like, that sucks.
Just ask more questions.
Yeah, I did. It was just fleeting. He was telling me he didn't want to go to school. So this is me reading. He didn't flat out say he's getting bullied.
Did you tell your sister? Wait, who's
Yeah, my sister-in-law. Yeah. So I think they're investigating. But I was just like, damn, dude, you're at that age. That sucks. And he's such a nice kid.
It could be a bunch of different things too. At that age, it's like, well, the beanbag chair was my turn, and Rebecca took it. Or
I don't know. School is tough. I mean,
it wears them out too. It wears them out.
Did they go to private school? Yeah.
I mean,
Look where we are. You think these
where
kids?
We are.
You think these kids could have toughed it out in Atlanta public schools?
So and you know
then
what?
I don't know, homeschool. Then it's like, am I going to raise?
Just go to a nice. Public school is good. It's good. If they start having trouble,
not good enough for Amy, but
so okay. I went to public school.
For you,
for you, Keegan.
Yeah.
Public school is
what are you gonna do?
But are you dyslexic?
No.
So maybe the kids will be fine, and they're girls.
I was
They'll be
so
strong.
bad in school. That's what I'm worried about.
You were so bad in school?
Oh yeah.
How much?
Not bad, like
were you
academically. Not. I was just. I'm talking about elementary school. Oh, I was like, I didn't start till I was 14.
A reasonable age to start smoking weed.
Do you have ADD?
Yeah.
So if they have that, it could affect their ability to learn.
Thank God,
in
Christina.
The traditional sense.
Christina hasn't had any caffeine since she found out that she was pregnant and hasn't done it.
Doesn't wait? It's TikTok. I was told not to drink caffeine when I was pregnant because it would make the babies be smaller, and I was like, I don't want a fucking big baby. I'm going to drink caffeine.
Well, we had to do that because the twins are already premature and little.
Yes,
they came out at 5'15" and 6'6", I think.
That's good.
I know, but that's little.
That's gonna be okay size.
Baby. Like when I was at the hospital, I was just like, oh my God, these things are tiny. I didn't know how small they would be.
And little girls baby girls are stronger than baby boys.
Really?
Yeah.
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 It's incredible how strong they are. Like when they grab my beard or they grab something, it's like crazy. Mm-hmm. You can't break their grip.
Yeah. The private undergrad, we'll call it, regular school.
I know. I just worry. I worry.
Right. Well, then, okay. So you have to be ready to move then. That's what you have to be.
Ready
or
to move.
Go in and ask for them to be moved to a different classroom.
Yeah.
There's lots of different levels you can do. You can also take them home for, like, you could, like, homeschool for, like, the second half of 6th grade and then try again 7th grade. Like.
Yeah, I mean, that's, I think maybe.
If they have lots of friends in the neighborhood that go to the same school, that's going to help a lot.
Yeah, that'll help.
So is there a neighborhood school? This is the problem with the private school. Like, my children have never basically had friends in the neighborhood. Like, I am sad for them that they didn't have that experience.
They never had a Stranger Things.
A bike gang where you solve mysteries.
Yeah, and that's
don't
what you
mind if
worry
I do.
about with homeschooling. You're like, am I going to raise this weird kid? Yeah, where they're only around me. I'm a psychopath.
I had neighborhood friends with the same school. It was just because of proximity. And as soon as I went to, like, middle school that had like a larger range, I was like, oh, I actually don't like the people that live on my street.
I hope.
And you learned that, but that was part of learning about who you are and who they are.
Hopefully they do sports. That's what I'm hoping. Sports or theater or anything, just it's something. I don't care what it is, but it's got to be something.
Yeah, save your money for that. That's going to be expensive too.
I know.
You got to drive their butts all over town. Hopefully they like the same thing.
Hopefully they don't do like travel softball. Oh my God.
Travel soccer, travel anything.
Yeah, travel anything.
I have a guy.
My dad was always like, no.
I have a friend.
We're not fucking traveling. They got baseball down the street.
I have a friend and his son does travel soccer, and like every time we see him, he's like, "Yeah, I was in Florida yesterday."
Yeah,
I'm like, "That's far."
Yeah, we were in DC for the tournament. Like, dude.
Mm-hmm.
So your child is going to spend 90% of their childhood in a car, driving places. But this guy makes it fun. He's like, for driving to this place, we're gonna stop. We're gonna see the alligators. We're gonna do the touristy thing, and we're gonna do the soccer tournament. It's
Try
a lot.
neglect. Try neglect.
Well, then they'll just do video games the whole time. And that's if you I heard something interesting recently, and by here I mean I watched on TikTok. That if your child if your child can play video games for 5 hours or more straight, it means they have ADHD.
Yeah,
it's an addictive personality thing that they're expressing.
Or video games are tight. You ever think about that?
Tight. I can't do them.
I just started getting into it. Ghost of Tsushima. Yeah, because I was staying up. I was doing night shift. When they first got home, I was staying up all night with them so Christina could sleep.
Yeah.
So I just was like, what am I going to do? I mean, you run out of shit to watch.
That's good. We could write a book.
I actually started writing down like a journal entries, but I want to do a book that's called I'm Fucking Pregnant. Because every like expecting dad book is like you're reading it and you're like, who the fuck is this for? Like this is like I didn't plan it and I'm having twins. I'm fucked. Like I don't know what to do. And that was the first thing she said to me when she sat down. She's like, I'm fucking pregnant. And I was like, what? So yeah, I've been writing down.
Write it.
I know. Absolutely. I've been writing entries. My brother actually has written books and he is in English. Like has his master's. Yeah. So I've been talking to him about it.
Keep writing that.
I think it'd be fun. That's when I get back into stand-up, I've been writing a lot of stand-up about it because there's just so much. There's so much going on.
And you already have contrast on your side that, like, if you start talking about nipples chafing from breastfeeding because you're a dude, it's going to be funny. You're like, oh, he gets it.
I get a lot more about the whole plight of... The pregnancy is insane. Just the whole thing of it blows my mind that women not only go through childbirth, but then do it again. That's insane.
You have to really want the other children.
Also, because your brain kind of makes you forget all.
That's
the
what
bad.
I mean. Like, like that's the only way that we go on. Yeah. I get it, but I'm like,
one of my friends, her son like just hit 1 years old, and she was like, already. I'm seeing like other like young babies, and she's like, maybe I should. And then she'll be like, wait a minute, no, it was terrible. Like, I hated being pregnant.
Yeah. You're like, what?
And she's like, it's only been a year. My brain's are like, no.
It's an abusive relationship.
Your brain's like, don't.
But he
pull
loves
out.
me.
I'm not having
You live
kids.
together. Why would you pull out?
Every time Amy has a guest on with kids, I mean, don't get me wrong. I love my niece. I like other people's kids, all right, but I don't want kids. All this is terrifying.
It's a lot of work, and they're expensive.
You got to go all in. You got to, and that's the only thing that, like, especially with twins, I was like, there is no like, oh, you just take care. We both have to do equal work because it's like you have to. There's 2 newborns, so there is no like you take it. You do the feeding.
You go play golf.
Yeah. I'm waking up with her. I'm feeding because you have to.
They're gonna be smarter than you because kids are always smarter than their parents, and they're getting smarter than you at the same time. So you think you're one-on-one? No, they're outnumbering you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you want to have more?
I do. I didn't because I was like, before they came, I was like, I'm definitely getting a vasectomy. Like,
yeah.
And then I was like, I don't know.
Right? You have a
little boy would be cool.
A little boy could be cool.
A little boy would be cool.
Yeah.
But 2 is a lot. When they start crying, it's like I call it a tornado of tantrums.
Is there a weird?
Cute. That's a good joke.
Is there like I'm trying to think of how to word this. Like if you have twins first, is it weird for younger siblings to not have a double?
So my brother, my husband is a twin. And then he has a younger sister who's not a twin, but my husband's parents, it took 5 years for them to be like, I guess we can, like when their children went to kindergarten, they're like, okay, we'll try again. Like they needed to take a beat.
Yeah. But it might have been the first time they got to have sex again.
They might have, right?
They're like, oh my God, dude, what are we going to do with this hour?
Sleep.
And then that was back when kindergarten was a half day.
Sleep is it's tough to keep having sex after you've had children because it's like sleep sounds so much better.
Yeah.
You're like,
you don't need to have sex. Save that for later. But like when you have children that are 5 years apart, it is actually like having like psychologically for the child having another only child. So we had friends that had a child every 5 years for 15 years. So they had 3 children, but all of them had like a non-sibling kind of experience. I don't recommend that.
Yeah, me and my brother were 4 years apart, and it was tough when he went to college because then you're just like, fuck, you feel abandoned.
Oh, I never thought about that.
It sucked. I cried.
Wow.
I cried so much that he like let me come to college with him. He's like, all right, dude, I guess you can come visit.
Is that when you started smoking pot?
I was smoking pot before that. I actually got my brother into cigarettes when I was like 17.
Oh my!
And he still to this day, I quit smoking cigarettes. He still smokes cigarettes.
Do you feel guilty? Yeah.
Every time I see him light one
He's
up.
older than you. He can.
You sent him Nicorette for Christmas.
When he was 18 and could get me into cigar shops. That was a big thing. Because I was like, what, 14, 15?
But did you have this beard then? This full beard that you have?
No. But they don't care. Like at cigar shops, you can, as long as you're not buying anything, you could just sit in there and chill.
They smell like garbage, though.
Garbage. Cigars are terrible.
Yeah. There was this guy in college, and he's like, why won't the girls hang out with me?
Because you smell awful.
with that
Cigars
cigar.
are the worst smell.
Yeah.
It is one of the worst smells. I did a podcast with a guy that was did a pipe. That it was really cool.
That has a sweet smell.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was nice. Like the whole time he was smoking
smells like
this pipe.
Father Christmas.
I know. I was like doing a podcast with this dude, and he's like smoking a pipe, and I was like, God damn, I will never be this cool. Like this guy, like he looks like he belongs.
Does he have patches on his elbows?
Nah, he was a musician.
Well,
He's
you
a
can
cool
dress
guy.
like Jesus and be the coolest of them all. Okay, so you're not raising the girls religious.
No.
You are dressed.
Well, sort of, because we started doing Legos. So I think Legos will be our religion.
Yeah.
Well, they're going to eat those. So don't give the babies Legos for a little while.
This is how hippie we've gotten. We don't want to have blue light like a couple hours before they go to sleep because they do sleep through the night. They sleep a lot better if you
They
just
do?
don't. Well, we got them sleep sacks. Have you ever heard of this?
Tell me about the sleep
So
sack.
a sleep sack is a little thing that you zip up, and it's like
Oh, a
little
swaddle.
like no, it's like a sack that you put them in. Their arms are out of it, so it's like a sleeping bag with
so they
their
can still
arms out.
smoke.
Yeah, absolutely. So they're not hidden. But once we got those, they started sleeping through the night.
Oh, that looks cozy, actually. I'd want to wear those,
Dude,
They're sleeping
me.
through the night at 2.5 months? Mm-hmm. You are
Like we'll
so
put them
lucky.
down at like 10 or 11. Or like they'll be hanging out, and then we'll put them down, and they'll sleep till 7.
That's amazing. You are so lucky. Keegan
I'm telling
Ray.
you, the sleep sack. So we got them this thing. They're like
There's
a little.
sleep sack that makes them look like a little pizza.
Really?
Yeah.
I got to get that one. No, when you take them out of this thing, like in the morning, they feel like a little baked potato. They're so warm. You're like,
That's
yeah.
all the poop.
All right.
I think my niece.
We
had
need
these.
stuff like this for adults. Like I need a sleep sack. We also got a thing. My mother-in-law got us a thing that
That's a weighted blanket.
No, I don't like weighted blankets. Feels like I'm being assaulted. I did not like it. I was like, feels like somebody holding me down.
Yeah, so
We
this
have,
anxiety can leak out of you slower.
We had a hand motion wipe dispenser
Yes.
that's heated.
Yes.
I was like, why don't I have that for me? Like that's what the fuck are we doing?
I'm gonna start taking a shit in their room.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm gonna move this to the bathroom. No, but we started doing Legos because we do Legos while they sleep for like an hour or two before.
That's team building for you guys. Yeah.
I've never done Legos as an adult.
Oh, really?
I never did like sets. When I was a kid, I had an older brother, so they just had the box of Legos, and I would try to build something, and he would break it. That was my
That was the
experience with
journey.
Legos.
Rinse and repeat.
So as like an adult, I got her the Harry Potter castle. That's what we've been working on. It's
you
awesome.
got your
a
wife
big
the
one.
hair.
Yeah, for her birthday.
That's fine.
Because I was like, if you're at the house and I have to leave to go do podcasts and stuff, and they sleep, like you can have something to work on.
That's adorable. Why don't you could, if you wanted to, turn all of her Harry Potter Legos into a Christmas village.
We are gonna try to. We actually are gonna buy the Home Alone house, and we're gonna work on it. We're gonna buy it and then work on it and get into the Christmas spirit.
That's so fun.
Yeah, watch movies while we do it. How fun! That's what I wanted to bring that because that's what I'm nerdy for right now. Is Legos.
You guys are well paired. If you guys can build Legos together, you can raise twins. I feel like
Yeah,
if you're
it's
not
team
fighting
building.
over
I think
Legos.
one's a lot harder.
I don't know.
I don't
When you
know.
build Legos with somebody and say that when somebody builds the Legos wrong,
Yeah.
you need to have forgiveness in your heart because you're like, dude, are you on 352? We're on obviously 349. You idiot!
Jumping
I
ahead.
need those fucking pieces. And Legos are so hard to get up once you do it wrong. You're like, fuck.
Yeah,
But yeah, I want to build the Home Alone house.
that sounds fun.
Because it's like it's like it has a big house. It has like 50 different references to the movie.
We have a Lego train that runs, and it's a Christmas train. That's awesome. It's really cool.
Because we watched a guy the other day on YouTube. This is how fucking nerdy we are. We put Lego videos on the TV.
Okay.
And we watch a guy that does a time lapse of he built this city that took him like 4 years.
What is it? All black and white?
No.
Because we had Jay Star on this podcast.
What?
His YouTube handle is Lego Star, right? Lego Star. He has an entire room in his place that's all a black and white Lego city. What? And he takes it to Lego conventions and has like one
So how do they
award
take
for
it? So how did they take it?
It breaks up into like file box sizes, and then you put it back together.
Oh shit! And they like probably number it. Because that's what we were talking about. Because it was at a convention, and I was like, "How the fuck do they take this thing?"
Right, and then he dropped one of his boxes, and his house exploded, and he was like, "Oh!" you get turned into a toddler again.
This Home Alone house rocks.
It's amazing.
I have fantasies of having like a train village. That's all
my
cute.
uncle had trains when I was a kid, and so my cousins, you go to their house for Christmas and they'd have all the trains set up, and you were just like, this is the coolest shit ever.
That's called autism.
Yeah, and then I was about to say, then I got older, and you're like, oh, okay, they were just
uncle's just autistic.
Like, oh, yeah, they're just a bunch of autistic brothers that love trains. Hey, God bless them. The trains were awesome.
It's nice to have the synergy though of having all those people in the same place
my uncle
at the
was
same
like
time.
completely cheating on, had a different family, but when he was there, it was train time, baby.
Train time.
He was the train conductor.
Hey, Daddy, you're gone a lot. I gotta go work on my train.
Which I'm like, did he have a train set at both
both
houses?
Also, do you think
He's like, this is Train Depot 1.
Do you think did he have?
Oh, was he?
Because if it's like the train set, does he have like his other family in the train set?
Oh,
there?
what, waving?
Yeah. They're like, who's this train people?
People look especially happy.
It's my fantasy land. Don't worry about what I'm doing.
I know, he had fantasies all over, it sounds like.
Dude, how exhausting. What the fuck is wrong with that guy? Like,
that used to be a big thing, as having two families.
Crazy. Why?
I have a theory now about it.
Let's hear this, because I can't wrap my mind
I don't
around
think that's like the mover and shaker guy that does that. It's the guy who can't have a hard conversation with anybody. So the woman's like, we're getting married, and he's like, okay. She's like, I'm pregnant. Like maybe he's having an affair.
Yeah.
He already has a family, and then she's like, I'm pregnant, and he's like, okay.
The only thing I hate more than listening is wrapping it up.
Dude, it's just so exhausting, and it's like, but that was a thing. You could literally just drive 30 minutes down the road, and just there was no
before
Facebook.
The internet.
Yeah, you're like, listen, is this a different grocery store? Great,
here,
you're not gonna run into each other.
They're not coming to this Piggly Wiggly.
Why are you going down to Elm Street? Don't go there. This family stays on Main.
Jesus.
I think it's Mateo Lane. He's a comedian. I think his dad had like two families, or his mom's father had two families, and then he just named all the children the same names.
Perfect.
Man.
That's the best.
That's crazy.
That's foolproof
We
right
did
there.
good with the names by accident, because we named baby A, because you have baby A and baby B when you have twins.
Okay.
And we named baby A Ava.
That's smart.
And every single nurse was like, thank you. Thank you. They were like, you do not understand how fucking confusing that is.
Put that in the book. Put these little
It's
tips.
in there. I got a journal. I got journals.
When you have twins, one has to have a name.
I had a joke, a swing and a miss that I want to put in the book, because I did it with the doctor, and she did not like it. I was like, identical twins, does that mean we came at the same time? And she was just like,
that's a great job.
like the lady looked at me like, what the fuck? And I'm like,
she's like, sir, you are responsible for two living.
And he's like, she's like, oh no, this one's reproducing. Oh god.
I'm bombing with like an ultrasound up. It's like a dark room. I'm just like, hey, anybody fucking nothing on that.
Did you know in medieval times they used to think that how a man will have seed? They thought women had seed inside of them, and so in order to be able to make a baby, the woman would have to come and release her seed. Yeah. And when you didn't have a baby, she didn't come.
That's
just, I feel like, good manners.
Well, no, because in Victorian times, they to continue off of that, the rumor was if you had a misbehaving child, it was a product of bad sex.
Oh, really?
So then if you see people like walking around and their kids suck, she's like, that man cannot make his wife come. But on the other hand, on the other hand, though, it is if you see a kid well behaved, like that woman is fucking busting nuts every night.
You're like, damn, that guy.
That dude is throwing it down. Do you see how well behaved? Teachers just
that guy can plank for an hour.
Teachers just telling the kids, being like, your father must fuck because you're my favorite student.
Yeah.
Oh, word. Okay, it's been an hour.
Okay.
Where can we find you besides driving your children around town?
I have a podcast called Finish the Story. It's on YouTube. You can find it on Spotify. We just got it up. We have audio, video on Spotify. So just finish the story on Spotify.
I did an episode in there back in the day.
I know. I think what we're gonna do now is we're gonna start taking some of the older episodes, like your episode, and we're gonna do like a Flashback Wednesday, and we're gonna start doing some of the older episodes in the Spotify.
Oh, fun!
And we'll just keep the old ones, the 75 episodes that are on YouTube that aren't on Spotify. That'll just be like our Old Testament.
What's your premise?
So we just have different comedians come on and they tell a story.
Finish the story.
We interrupt and we have a good time.
All right. I'm going to put that link in the notes for the show in the bottom parts where the words go. And I'll also put the link to Star Lego Star.
I was going to say, I'm definitely going to
Lego
look that
Star.
Because that's what we do. We have it playing while we build Legos.
Yeah, and it's not called Legos. It's called Lego. I learned all about it from J Star. He was like one of the... If you're going to be a leg head.
No.
Are they called blockheads?
Brick. It's called brick.
A brickhead.
Brickhead.
You know that I watched a documentary and you can send in a letter if you have an idea for a set. And then if they choose that idea for a set, you get 1% of the sales. I watched this whole documentary where a dude was like, I want to have a set that's birds. And so he sent in that idea and they used it. And then he got royalties.
I've seen some birds.
That's cool.
Yeah, that was one dude's idea for the set. And
That's
they did it.
fantastic.
I was like, man, I wish I could come up with something. What would you do for a Lego set?
I was thinking about it. I'm sure they already do dogs. Dogs are my favorite.
I think they should do cats. They only have the one cat. I was like, why not do all the different cat? Do a calico cat, do a tabby.
Birds come in all these different sizes and colors. So I think that would maybe because like when you're doing Lego, you want to have like the different colors, and cats and dogs only come like in brown and almost red. Like maybe it wouldn't be quite as interesting.
They're like, here's another doodle.
What's something interesting that flowers are different colors? They have those already though.
Mm-hmm. I like the paintings. I've seen the Van Gogh ones. That's cool.
Yeah, those are cool. They have a lot of really cool like adult themed.
Oh,
not sexual theme, but like just like they're more. It's like works of art.
Sir, do you have a Lego dick behind you?
I want a Lego set of a man and a woman coming twice, so they have identical twins.
Yeah, that's what I want.
Right at the same time.
Have them fucking, and then the next is somebody holding two babies.
It's a montage.
All right. Well, thank you for coming on the show, darling. We'll have a hug and a picture. Kisses.